It's hockey night. NorthJerseySports.com's original multimedia series talking all things ice hockey across North Jersey. The new season is upon us, so it is time for the season debut. This is Season 6, Episode 1. I am Cory Doviak, being joined by my long-time now panel of illustrious North Jersey hockey insiders, starting with the Fairlawn Athletic Director, but so much more than that. He is C2. He is Cory Robinson. What's going on, Cory? Welcome to the new season.
We finally going to get this thing rolling or what? Season's been going on 3 weeks. Let's go.
Oh wait, they started playing.
Let's put the train on the tracks and let's go.
Wait,
How's the Maven doing?
Well, you got to let me introduce him because
are we going to get him on here or what? I think after last year's couple of years runs for him, I think he should have been introduced before me.
Yeah, well, because I wanted to take a little bit more time with his
okay,
resume
you wanted the
here.
build up. I got you.
Yes.
I got you.
I mean, he's a man of many talents. He was a guest on our soccer show. He was, if we had a coach of the year in soccer, if we were industrious enough to put something like that together, he probably would have been it. He's a critic. He's a listener. He's a first-time, long-time. He's the head coach of the Ramsey girls soccer program. He's the assistant coach to the Ramsey softball program.
Powerhouse for sure.
Yeah, I mean, all the guy does is win and consume NorthJerseySports.com multimedia. He is the Maven. He is the head coach of the Riverdale /Westwood /Emerson co-op hockey program. Maven, nice to have you back, pal.
Oh wow, that was some delivery there. I mean, what did I do to deserve that? Well, unbelievable.
All you do is win.
Yeah. Oh, stop. Now, hey, I'm glad to be back here. Glad it's hockey season. It was a long soccer season.
Yes.
Took me about a couple weeks to recover, but ready to go here. And like Cory said, we're off to a good start here. We'll talk about some teams tonight, obviously, and then moving forward, get some coaches on and some players as usual. But glad to be back with two of my favorites here.
Yes, and it's great. And here's the show rundown for tonight is an easy one because we're going to ease back into the new season here. We're going to set the plate for the rest of the year. We're going to keep an eye on who's doing well, who's making runs and all those other things, and we'll watch it as the season goes on. And if you've listened to It's Hockey Night in the past, you know that we've been known to get guest after guest after guest all in the same show. That's all going to happen. But I thought it was important to set the tone here and just kind of catch up with what's gone on so far in the first 3 weeks. This is the first content of any type for the winter 2018-2019 season that we're doing here on NorthJerseySports.com. So, Cory, let's start with you. New season. Give us a little bit of a rundown of some teams that are off to a hot start.
I had the chance to see a couple of games. I saw Wayne beat Ridgewood. I thought that was a well-played game. That was two good teams. I think they're both going to be state tournament teams. And then I saw Ramapo actually win last night over not Ramapo. I saw Ridgewood again beat Ramapo last night, and earlier Wayne beat Ridgewood. So you see three good matches there. Indian Hills just beat Ramsey tonight, so I think Coach Tabacino's going to have a nice little run with that team this year. And then there's a lot of Maven could speak to it a little bit better than I can right now. There's a lot of parity, I think, in the public schools in Bergen County and Passaic County this year. Would you agree with that, Maeve?
Yeah, I think so. I was impressed with how Lakeland has come out of the gate. Crouch has a young team, lost some guys, but big win against Indian Hills and a big win against Montclair, I believe, last night. 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0. Yep.
Friday. Yeah. So that's caught my eye. The Ramapo game caught my eye with Wayne. Sometimes you need a loss like that early on, and I know Belgium will get those guys going back again. Don't sleep on Mawa, as usual. Kevin Johnson, probably one of the better, quieter players around, who's scoring a lot of goals for Mawa. Glen Rock.
And their goalie is really good, too, Selman.
Yeah.
Really good goalie.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So they'll definitely be someone to look out for. Highlands again. I see they lost to St. Joe's by 1 at the leave, so they're another team. We just played Tenafly tonight, a very good average team. Not surprising with Andy. So like
how did that game go?
We lost 3-2. We were up 2-1 in the third late, and he's got a very good team. He's got a transfer in from Massachusetts who's very good.
I saw that last night with their victory over the Cutters. So you could give us some credit for slowing them down for you a little bit tonight. So we tired them out a little bit for you.
Hey, he lost 3-2, Corey.
Well, he still, he was in the game at least.
So yeah, I think Corey hit it right on the head. There's a lot of parity with the public schools. So it should be interesting, and it's early on. Well, I'll see more once the tournament time comes around at the Ice Vault. But definitely some surprises early, but it should be exciting as usual.
Yeah,
he forgot to leave this one out. Was that a coaching masterpiece by Coach Danko last night at Floyd Hall?
Yeah.
Clifton 6, Riverdale 3 last night?
Yeah. Well, he's got one of the better players I've seen around in Pissarro, and we just had trouble. We had trouble matching up, like many teams do with him.
No, he's a very good player. C1, how would you defend Pissarro? Pissarro, not Pissarro.
I would go zone, and then if that didn't work, I would run a late double at him.
All right, run that. Write that down, man.
Yeah.
Is there, Kev, in the teams that you have seen so far, and Corey, in the teams that you've seen so far, do you think that there is a public school team that might separate itself here? We've seen such great runs in the past years. Ramsey had it rolling for so many years, and then Glen Rock had its obviously great moments going to the Rock, and then Highlands with a great year last year. Is there one that we can look at and say, if they can just put it together, this is a team that has potential state final capabilities? Or do you think it's going to be back and forth all year long with whoever's healthiest and playing best at the end of the season is the one that's going to be able to do it? Is there a clear favorite, I guess, Kev, is my question.
Public school-wise, if there's a year, and Corey mentioned it, I think Indian Hills, this is the year they go over the hump. I'm hoping. Coach Tabs, like, Corey said, they beat Ramsey. They did lose to Lakeland by a goal, but again, I don't think it's the worst thing early on right here. Kind of brings you back down to earth a little bit. But they have everybody back from last year's team. I saw he did pick up a couple tough games. I'm sure he's going to be in the Ice Vault tournament, and I'm sure he's going to get 3 tough games, which is good. That's what they need. But I'm really looking forward to them and hoping that they get over that hump and, then represent the North, at least get to the Final Four and whatever public, I forget if they're B or C or A, whatever the heck they are nowadays. They're definitely a team I would hope for. If you flip over, and we'll probably get to it later, but Morris County, I see Chatham's on a roll, Randolph's on a roll. So you're going to have to go through Summit, which we didn't even get to.
What else is new, right?
I know. So at some point, probably around the quarterfinals, you're going to run into someone, and can they do it? I don't know. I don't know. Highlands, I haven't seen them yet. I want to see them. They're always lately definitely a team. Like Corey said, Mawa with their goalie. So I think like those 2 or 3 teams right now. I see there's probably someone we're missing, but we'll see.
Corey, let me ask you.
I think it's early yet, though. I think we got to wait another 10 days before maybe even 2 weeks. Yeah. Maybe not. We don't have to wait till the Christmas tournament finalizes, but at least another week to 10 days just to see how things start to play out. Every team you mentioned are the normal teams that you would look for. Glen Rock 1 and 2 so far. Obviously, they got hit hard by graduation, so we'll see where they go. And obviously, Dean Portis is the new coach there, and Dean well. A lot of experience, gets teams better, and that's I'm sure Glen Rock's going to improve as the season goes along. But I don't know. I think it's early. I think those Morris County teams that the Maven mentioned are probably a little bit a little bit more advanced than our teams are right now. But that can change over time.
How about the Cutters?
Mm-hmm. Cutters a decent start. A lot of young kids. Our numbers are low, but kids are playing hard. We're plugging along. Can't say
they had a winter classic.
Yes, we were in Central Park at the Trump Lasker Rink, and we got to win.
Got
to win there. So Berth Lennox Wafen School. We'll take the win on the road. They're tough at home. They're very tough at home. Maven knows about their legacy in the city.
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
play nothing like picking off a pond hockey team in week 1 of the new season.
It's like playing the Canadians in the old form, man. You're 2 goals down before you step on the ice.
Corey, we're going to get into this We're going to get into this topic later on in the season because it's something that certainly we need to discuss. If we're going to be a hockey show, we got to be responsible and talk about the state of hockey in general in the high school sports landscape. I mean, it's tough because the high school team is not necessarily, and Kevin, you know this too from soccer. I mean, it happens too where, not to a lesser extent, soccer kids aren't missing games for their club. Either they play or they don't. In hockey, it's more of a balance where you can play with your club team and you can play with your high school team during the same season and all that type of stuff. But, more co-ops becoming prevalent. When the Waynes combined last year, that was a big surprise. Morris Knowles now, as Kevin was saying before we came on the air, is in a co-op. And some of these traditional powerhouses, or at least strong sides with big numbers, have, resorted to the co-op, I guess, out of necessity. Give us an overview, Corey, before we dive into it later on in the season. You, as a guy who administrates hockey tournaments and knows this game from the lowest levels in North Jersey up into the highest. I mean, where do we stand with high school hockey here, in your opinion?
I think we got a healthy future moving forward. I think the co-op situation is something that's on the table to be discussed by many athletic directors in the state. We're going to put together a committee that's going to really analyze from top to bottom the situation, because there's a need for it in certain spots and there's not so much of a need of it in certain spots. But until you sit down at a table and you really analyze it and you look at the numbers and you look at how things are going and the future of it, I think it's a lot of he said, she said type of stuff. So I know it's really front and center on a lot of people's minds. So it's going to be an interesting topic moving forward.
Yeah, because once you co-op, it's hard to un-co-op. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of fall into that comfort zone of, okay, well, we're 2 teams. And when you start counting, Kev, you can maybe speak to this too. When you start counting the number of kids coming up, like, say, in a couple of years, you might say, well, this plus this, instead of thinking of one specific sending district. You know what I mean? I mean, has it gotten to that point? Riverdale and Westwood have been together for a while now, I believe. And is there? I guess my question is there a want to pull apart, or is it planning to go forward as one, or do you reevaluate on a year-to-year basis?
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, Riverdale and Westwood have been together, I believe, since 8 or 9. So it's been a healthy co-op, which is good, And I don't see it going anywhere. Dennis and Dan, both athletic directors, are great. They're always obviously supportive. The parents in the towns, the 4 towns, have been very supportive, and the people coming up have been very supportive. So I don't see it going anywhere. I know this year, we're really trying to start like a quote association with the towns to really get the people know each other in the lower levels. Because that's, as Corey can tell you, that's really where it starts. We happen to co-op with Emerson this year. And to be honest with you, it's to give those kids in the town, something to play for. We'll get into more, for me personally, I'll get more into the Emerson to see what they have, coming up if there's interest. But, for those 4 or 5 kids, and at the end of the day, a lot of athletic directors, and, I agree, it gives them something to play for instead of going somewhere else, instead of not being able to play, it gives them an option as a student athlete. And, there's something to that. As a lot of people say. So,
yep.
We'll see.
You guys took on Emerson this year as part of your co-op, and how hard is that for a head coach? You know, like, I don't know how it went down in your district. You know, like you said, your athletic director is an organized guy, so, you know, sure it was pretty seamless, but...
You're telling me Dennis Nelson's an organized guy? Come on.
Listen, I got to speak kindly of the guy.
He is the most organized guy. Don't say he is the organized guy.
Right.
He is the man.
He organized you know, we do all county pictures. We just got it done the middle of last week.
And Danny's very organized, too.
Yes.
Got to give him a shout-out, too, on the hockey show.
Yes, and you know, I do the all county pictures. Will be I'll plug it. It will be coming up shortly in the next couple days on the Bergen County Coaches website, which is bergencountycoaches.org. So those will be out there, and you know, it's hard to put these things together. One call to Dennis, the whole thing comes together. Everybody shows up at the gym. He gives me his gym, so everything worked out perfectly with one word to the great Dennis Nelson. I appreciate him more than anybody.
There you go.
But, so, Kev, in that vein, where you have good leadership, how hard is it, and I'm talking from a coaching standpoint, not the broader aspect of co-ops, but, you know, you're a head coach of Riverdale Westwood, all of a sudden you're the head coach of Riverdale Emerson Westwood. How does that play out, where you got to integrate new guys into your system who you may not necessarily have known before this season?
Good question. I mean, you know, I'm kind of old school. Like every year we'll have a parent-player meeting, so they were there. I stayed after with them just to get a better feel, getting the kids kind of hooked up with the other kids, doing a lot of, as best we can, doing a lot of team bonding stuff. I know it's tough it's actually I'm trying to think how many towns it actually is, because Westwood, Washington Township, Oradell, River Edge, and Emerson. So you got 5 towns you're pulling kids from to try and get them to know each other, because, you know, besides just the 2 days on the ice that we get, sometimes a third day, you know, you don't really get to know someone there. So you got to ask yourself, what are you going to do to really get these kids to know each other, to like each other as best they can. So there's a lot of little things that we like to do. The parents, I'll tell you, my booster president, I call her that, she's been great as far as organizing stuff and trying to get from the parent side of it, trying to get them to know each other. So yeah, as a head coach, it certainly is challenging. I knew it going in even without Emerson. But it's a challenge that, you know, I was open to. And like you said, you know, you guys were joking about it, but, you know, Danny and Dennis are so freaking organized that it makes my job much easier. You know, where I just have one call, like you said, Dennis, can I get the gym for this? Dennis, can I get the cafeteria for this? Danny, do you mind if we come there and do that? Yeah, no problem. Anything that, you know, that we need is there, and that's what you need, because without that, it's not going to work at all. It doesn't matter how organized I am. It doesn't matter how my booster lady is. If, you know, we don't get the support from the administration, it's going to be tough to go through. And I think talking to coaches who are in co-ops, you know, they say the same thing. And any issues that I see coming from them stems from that. So it's, you know, it's certainly not easy, but it's certainly a challenge that you know, that if you do it right and it's done right, it can definitely exist. You know, going back to what you said, I am surprised at some of these schools that co-opt, but if the need's there, like Cory said, then the need's there.
Yeah,
you know, it is what it is. But we'll see how it goes.
It's not just the hockey.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, it's not just the hockey issue. Go ahead.
Yeah,
but that's the big thing that needs to be analyzed in hockey. What's the need for it? Is there a need for it in these situations? I mean, there's rumors flying around that you got schools doing it just to add 3 players that are all travel players, that are really good players. You get 3 good travel players on a team all of a sudden from another town, and it's kind of like you're changing the whole complexion of a team, and that's where it's gotten a little bit dicey the last 2 years. And listen, there's a lot of people that do it the right way, but they're giving kids a chance. They're trying to fill their numbers and just have a program. But there's, you know, I think we're starting to get to a point where there's situations that need to really be looked at and, you know, analyzed. That's high school sports, and, you know, not everybody involved is doing things the right way and for the right reasons. And again, the reason for the co-op is keep programs floating, keep them alive, build a program up, get kids experience, and give the kids that are in the, you know, coming from the other school chances to play. So,
yeah,
you know, something to look forward to moving forward.
Yeah, and we weren't even planning on really getting into it tonight, but I think it's such a great topic, especially for early in the season when we're still waiting for results and teams to separate themselves and seeing who we can get on and who we shouldn't. But from an athletic director's point of view, I thought the Maven gave a great answer about handling it as a head coach.
I think he'd be a good athletic director, too, by the way.
I also
good
think
soccer coach, good hockey coach. I don't know about the softball, if he's good on coach at third base. I haven't seen him in action.
No.
But I'm sure he is.
No, he doesn't coach. He doesn't even coach the lines. Listen. I've been there with him in the dugout the last 2 years at Kane University in the state finals. You know what he's great at? He gives the visiting media. He gives all complete access to the cooler, to the cooler, and to the multiple bags of sunflower seeds in various flavors.
Wow. Yep. Can we just make a promise here? We're never going to co-op this show. We're not going to co-op this show. We're not adding any outsiders to this show.
No.
Occasional guest here. Maybe a Brack Healy from Hockey Advantage.
Yes.
Maybe an Alex Whalen who's tearing it up at Quinnipiac. But,
yes.
Maybe we'll get a few of those guys on in the future.
I think Alex...
know what we should do?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking this. You got a couple colleges, like Ramapo colleges coming around.
Yeah, we should do a little of that, yep.
We should.
William Patterson. William Patterson
as
well.
Willie P., Montclair State. We got some locals. We got to check these rosters, see some of our former It's Hockey Night guests,
and
bring them on.
Yes.
Listen, you were just privy to the listening audience. You were just privy to a little bit of show prep that we do here. This is not some fly-by-night organization. I mean, we plan, we prepare, we wait for the Cowboys to win in overtime because our beloved leader over there is a devoted Cowboy fan, and when they win in overtime...
Great day in America. Great day.
But, Cory, you also...
Great day. America's team is back.
You also avoided the question. Now, from a... you're the athletic director at Fairlawn, which has a good history of hockey. Last couple of years, struggling numbers-wise. How do you make the decision on, is it time to pursue a co-op, or even how you would go about trying to see where your particular school, and you don't even have to talk Fairlawn, but where a particular school fits with another? What's that process like, and how hard is that?
That's something that is also going to be analyzed, I believe, by the committee.
This committee!
That's going to be put together by the state. It was just voted in at our December legislative meeting that there will be a committee formed to look at all state state co-ops. So that's going to be interesting, I would say, moving forward. But how do you look? I mean, are we looking at West? I think
Riverdale, Fairlawn, almost Westwood.
Boy, I'd love to be the guy.
Why don't we talk a little parochial hockey here, a little non-public? We haven't mentioned the Iron Men against the Green Wave opening night. I was very impressed with the tempo and the speed of that game, Maven.
All right, wait.
I honestly thought that was college level speed the first couple of periods of that game.
All right, wait. We're going to get into that, Kev. Let me just say
you don't want to prop up on non-public.
I do. I just want to reset what we talked about. Kev, he did avoid the question, correct?
Yes.
Wow, slide with him, man.
And
how do we? Well, we look at the numbers. You look at the numbers in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in your district, and then you got to think moving forward. What's your best? What's your best plan? What's your best approach to it? It's something I got to say we are doing in Fairlawn. But before I do anything or whatever, I do a lot of research, do a lot of analyzing things, and at that point, I would talk with my principal, who's a really good guy, really good sports-minded guy, and knows how to do what's right by kids, and then we would move it to the superintendent and the board and go from there. But we're not really at that point yet in Fairlawn, but I think numbers-wise, everybody is a little bit concerned when they see some big schools co-oping,
right.
And I think that's a little bit of a concern. And I think that's a concern. You mentioned the Morris Knowles co-op earlier. That's one of the best teams in the state of New Jersey co-ops. Was there a need?
Yeah. Okay. Now you did answer it. Good. That's a good answer, and definitely. And I want a member of that committee on this show before this season ends as well. Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Can we go back to the non-public game that I was talking about, or what?
Now you are free to move on to action on the ice. Tell us about the Ironmen, who are the, I believe, 6-time defending Bergen County champions, soon to be 7. Is that right?
They are the forever.
The only
forever Bergen County champions so far until Riverdale or Westwood or somebody else comes along this year and gives them a run. Actually, Indian Hills played them last year. A nice game.
Yeah,
they were competitive for a little while in the game, and they hung in there with them. But saw them play Del Barton, and you take the top, a couple of the top teams in the state, put them on the ice opening night. It was. Kev, it was crazy. It was a really good game for the first game of the year. It was just really fast-paced, and Bosco ended up beating them at home 3-1.
Yeah, no, I did. I saw that. I was actually watching it on TV, and yes, even on TV, it looked fast. I mean, so I can imagine in person. But no, they're certainly going to be, obviously, as they always are, tough to beat. Bergen with 2 new coaches. We got to get their coach on the show eventually. I saw Bergen and Seton Hall the next night too, so that was also good to see 4 good teams right out of the box, as well as those other public games I watched. But I think Bergen took it a little bit that night, took it on the chin against Seton Hall. But I think they're moving in the right direction. It seems they won a game, I believe. I'm just looking here. They won on Monday. Beat the Hun School. So, they're doing better. I know Larry Maherter, our friend Larry from St. Joe's, is doing well up at, they were in Rhode Island, I believe, this weekend, and they got a split up there. You know how that high school hockey up there is really strong. So that's 3 of our teams, and I haven't really checked in on what Paramus Catholic's doing. I know the Cutters tied them last weekend. We got them this weekend, yep.
3-3, so you'll see them this weekend. So state level, I mean, it's good to see that. I believe that our non-publics here can go anywhere and play any team in the country and be competitive, especially the top 3 or 4 teams. You agree with that, Kev?
Yeah, no, I you just hit on a couple things too. I saw Lars taking his team traveling outside the state, trying to build up that program. And I said at the beginning, I think this is his 5th year, and he's right on track, right where I figured he would be. He's not, I don't think, to be fair, he's not at that Don Bosco level yet, but certainly headed and doing the right things. Bergen, like I said, I think with Tom coming in and Angelo there, both from Wayne, they used to coach at Wayne Hills. They'll get that program turned around. There'll certainly be county-wise, a team to watch out for. Someone probably who a public would not want to play, but
right.
But no, I agree with you, Cory. I mean, I think the 3 of those, and listen, Keith's been good. A couple of years ago, Keith was very good. So it goes up and down, and I'm sure he'll be fine moving forward. But definitely the 3 or 4 of them are playing very good right now, and will be tough. But yeah, I definitely want to catch that next Del Barton Bosco game. And then hopefully they meet each other again in the state final.
That could be It's Hockey Night on-site production, Kev. He's been promised that he's getting the new equipment now forever.
You know what?
5 years and forever.
I'll tell you what. We did an on-location over the football season. We did an on-location from Nick Del Calzo, the Hasbrook Heights head football coach, from the shed in his backyard. I went old school. I put a recorder in the middle of the room, and it turned out great. So I am ready to go anywhere, pal.
All right, well, we are ready to go. And this just in live from the Ice World. The Wayne Co-op, Wayne Knights defeated Morris Knoll Co-op 1-0.
Breaking news.
Huge win for the Big North.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge win. Absolutely. Coach Belger, great win. Wow.
Yeah, he's somebody.
Yeah.
I believe we had him on last year, but I would like to have him on again too, just to check in. No
doubt. Yeah, that's a great win. Wow.
Yep.
He's an umpire extraordinaire too.
Yes, I do know that.
Say, we can get that side of him. Does he? I want to ask him. Does he yell at the refs or no? What do you think?
I bet the answer is yes.
I've seen him yell.
Okay.
All right. Well, I just looked up at the clock here, and the idea for this was to get the show.
Wait a second. This just in. Torrey Krug has scored in overtime. Bruins 2, Ottawa 1. Let's not forget the Boston Bruins on this show either.
Yeah.
That win could bring them into the grade 8 when we finish the show.
Yes. Well, do you want to do a grade 8? Because it's time. I just looked up at the clock.
Absolutely. There's no show without a grade 8 anymore.
We
are as good as there is. What is that? The Mike's On app?
I don't know.
He's covering hockey on that app now. You think that he would call us and give us a little plug and maybe put us on his app for some hockey predictions, Maven?
I think we have more listeners than he has subscribers.
Probably, yeah.
We don't charge $15 a month for bad sports stuff.
Exactly. Mike's On app. Mike knows nothing about hockey.
We give it to you for free.
Giving hockey picks.
All right, then let's do the grade 8 because I just looked at the clock here. The idea of the show is just to get the season off and running, get the templates created, and then get moving on. Get guests and everything else.
We forgot about that new segment we were going to target in on. The game of the week.
Yes, we're a half hour in. Do you think we should maybe do some of these segments?
About next week's big game that we said we're going to target, or what?
What is it?
Yes. Come on, Maeve, you know it. And it is not Fairlawn against West Milford. No, it is not.
Who is it? I have no idea.
Come on. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. No, nothing to do with the America's team. Nothing remotely to do with America's team.
Oh, so great. Well, give it to us already. There's no cliffhangers on It's Hockey Night.
We're going to talk. The game of the week is the Glen Rock Panthers.
Yes.
Coach Dean Portis traveling to Ramsey next Friday night, 9 o'clock p.m. at the Ice Vault. Glen Rock Ramsey Rams. Just a little little attention to that game.
All right.
Yeah.
Friday night hockey.
Sure.
We'll just leave it at that.
That is the game of the week coming up. We'll see if we could get one of our industrious young reporters to cover such a game, and maybe we can have an on-site, some post-game reaction and everything else from Cory Ramsey, who should be there
That's a potential,
on location.
We have Fairlawn Northern Highlands Hoops opening night, 7 p.m. At the Cutter Nation Gymnasium. Right. So that could be a stop right afterwards. I'm sure the Ice Vault Grill will still be open. That's a possibility. They have a burger over there, right, Maven?
Absolutely. I get the grilled cheese with a large coffee. Bobby knows that.
That is a weird mix.
Great.
All right, let's get to the grade 8 here.
I think we should mention our good friend and supporter of high school hockey in North Jersey Athletics and our athletic director of the year for Bergen County last year, Jimmy Grasso, on this show tonight.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Obviously Jimmy's no longer with us, but he was a obviously big time supporter of hockey in North Jersey, as well as everything else, Kevin. And you worked for Jimmy for so many years, so maybe you want to tell a quick Jim story or say something?
You know what? It was funny. He was always in the know. Like, even with the show, now that you just reminded me, he was always in the know of, like, what's going on. He'd always, you don't think people listen, as Cory says, but they do. And he was always an avid listener of the show. He'd always be the first one to crack a joke to me to tell me I sound horrible on the computer, which I would always laugh at. But, no, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, he was someone that I had the privilege of, working under. He was not only, my athletic director, but, I'd report to him for phys ed stuff and, stuff like that. So, my times with him just sitting down and talking with him for the 10 minutes that he came down was all I needed every day, which was great. But as far as athletics goes, especially hockey, he loved going to hockey games. Yeah. He really did.
Especially when Alex Whalen was scoring all those goals. He would have that hockey jacket on and flexing his muscles there. C1, what about a Grasso story from you?
Listen, my Jimmy Grasso stories, like, I didn't work with him on a daily basis, so I don't have those, like, intimate. Well, I'll tell you a good one. And it came up when I was covering the state soccer finals down at Kane, and it just reminded me couple years ago when Ramsey was playing in the softball final down at Kane, we got there way early, and Jimmy did too, and it was about 1,000,000 degrees. And he found a spot up in the weight room above the center field fence. And he could see me melting outside. And I just hear I'm standing there, and I can hear this banging on the window. And he's like, come on, come on. So I walk upstairs. He goes, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sweating. He's like, all right. So I sat there with him. We had a good half-hour conversation, and it wasn't about sports. It was about family. It was about kids. I always asked how his kids were doing. He always asked how my kids were doing. And I think of Jimmy at odd times, like when I'm covering the soccer final and Jim Grasso's name, a vision of Jim pops into my head. He was a good man, and I miss him, and he is a tremendous loss to the North Jersey high school sports community. I haven't actually spoken about it publicly. No one's asked me about it. I mean, there were a lot of people who were closer to him than I am, and was, but I spent a lot of time in gym sitting next to him talking sports and other things, and Jimmy Grasso, we do miss you. So, well, good idea, Cory. We should keep him in front of our thoughts as much as possible. So, all right, let's move on.
No doubt. I just want to also add, and Maven, you know Coach Hess well from St. Joe's and from Sportorama, who also passed away. And he's assistant, obviously, assistant with Larry Maherter at St. Joe's, and how many thousands of kids he worked with up at Sportorama with the Saints. He was the hockey director at Ramapo, the youth hockey program. So Coach Hess is a big loss for North Jersey hockey, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we should do let's do our small part in remembering just guys like that who were so helpful to North Jersey. All right. We're running out of time here. Let's start. Grade 8. Cory, you will have the honor this year, the first edition of the Grade 8 NHL rankings here on It's Hockey Night. Who is the 8th best team in professional hockey at this current moment?
The 8th best team in the professional NHL season. It's early, but I'm going to go at number 8, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay.
Did you see Crosby?
That is probably as low as I've ever had them, Abe. Probably as low as I've ever had them.
Check out Crosby's goal the other night.
Yeah, I would have had that. You kidding me?
Yeah.
That's new school goaltending. You got to get down on your knees when you're at the post and give a guy like him a foot to shoot the puck. Yeah, well, even Tapachino would have made that save in that spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. I'm going 8. I'm going the Penguins. Maybe
right.
You're up.
I like this team. They're getting better every year. I like Colorado at number 8.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I could go there.
Well, they got a great goalie. Isn't Patrick Waugh? I mean, no.
Yes.
Maybe that. Yeah, whatever you say. Exactly.
Go ahead. Cory, who's number 7? At least I didn't say Chico Resch.
No, nobody from Secaucus. We're going to go with the Nashville Predators at number 7.
All right. Maven?
I got them a little bit up. You'll hear more on them.
No doubt. It's our first ranking.
It is. I love this city. By the way, you guys see this city parties on Sundays for the Bells game, and they're not even really that good.
Wow, my God. 1 winning streak, and we got them in the Grade 8 already? Woof.
Yep. Young team headed in the right direction, my friend.
I agree.
All right, the Buffalo Sabres, and I will interject. My favorite...
And they lost to the Jets today, that football team. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, but you have to say that the Buffalo Sabres do have the coolest old-school hockey sweater out there.
They definitely do. I agree with that. I think I have one up in my attic somewhere.
All right. Number 6, Cory.
Number 6, we're going to Western Canada.
Where's that?
Johnny Gaudreau, the South Jersey former high school hockey player, We're going with Calgary.
Okay.
Interesting. God, well, what do you hear?
Got 40 points. They're pretty good, no?
Who do you got, Maven?
Yeah, I think they're better than that. I got the Caps coming in at 6.
The
Wow.
defending
Respect
champs.
for the champions. Oh, my God.
No.
Wow.
Never have, never will.
Wow. They delivered last year, my friend. Come on.
Hey, come on.
All right, I'm going next.
Last year.
I am going next, and I am going with... Probably going to be a surprise to the Maven, but I'm going to go with his favorite coach's team, the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. Corey, you know they...
Well, Maeve, you got to love that guy still a little fondness for you, no?
Yeah. I do like him. I got to admit, I do like him.
Tell C1 who we're talking about, just so he has an idea.
Well, that's what I said to him. I don't know if he heard me. I don't know if he knows Columbus does have a hockey team. That was my question to him.
Exactly. John Tortorella.
They're
C1.
They're the Buckeyes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Go ahead. Who do you got, Maven? Number 5.
I got the Jets, Jets, but the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay, I'm just hoping you don't throw somebody from the Lincoln Tunnel area in there. I'm just hoping that doesn't happen because I don't want to attack your journalism credibility here.
Well, if there was any left, you could, for me anyway, if there was any left, you could go after it all you want. All right, Corey, who's number 4?
Number 4 is a tough one because we're getting into the final nitty gritty here. But I'm gonna up Maven up here 1, and I'm gonna say the Colorado Avalanche on number 4.
Oh my goodness!
Seen a little of them. I like them. They're strong.
I know. I do. That's why. But I want to put them. That's why I put them down low. They got a lot of work to do. Where am I? 4?
Yep.
Nashville. I love Nashville Predators. I love the city. I love how they play. I like them at 4 right now.
Number 3, Corey.
Top 3, baby.
Number 3. Number 2 and number 1. I'm going all 3. I'm going. Do I got to wait for him on this one?
No, run them out. Run them out. Your top 3.
Run them out. Number 3, the defending Cup champions, the Capitals.
All right.
Number 2, the defending Cup runner-up, Las Vegas Golden Knights.
I'm not falling for that again this year. I know there's no team in Vegas. Very funny.
Number 1, pretty easy. This will be your Stanley Cup champion this year, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right.
Are they say Lightning Rangers? Are they a co-op or what? Could it be a co-op? The Lightning and the Rangers or what?
I'm looking forward to
like
the win.
94 Rangers, the Ranger Oiler team that won the Cup.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I'm digging into them good here, C1.
I think the NHL did a great thing by announcing the Winter Classic this year in Tampa Bay just to bolster the franchise a little bit. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right,
Who is the Winter Classic on January 1st? Does everybody know who that game is?
No. Is it Fairlawn?
Bruins Hawks?
It is Bruins Hawks at Notre Dame.
Wow,
Yeah.
that would be fun.
South Bend.
How is Corey not going there? How is the film?
Well, why don't we get the show on the road and cover it live?
I think that's a great idea. Except
Radio
by January,
Row, it's hockey night.
by January
At
1st,
the
we
Winter
still might
Classic.
be trying to finalize the first final 8 of the season. So, Maven, let's take care of that process. Give us 3, 2, 1.
All right, 3, 2, 1. I love the Maple Leafs at 3. I'm surprised Corey didn't mention them. I don't think he did.
They're coming soon. They're on the outside of the 8. They're 9.
Outside of 8, I have them at 3. You can tell we do our homework here.
Right.
I like the Flames. I think Corey had them at 8.
Yeah,
I have them
I'm
at
at 6.
And we do happen to agree on Tampa as R1. So I'll give them that. At least we got along with 1.
I mean, the Bruins beat the Leafs 6-3 last night, so I just, I got to show a little respect to the Bruins because I don't have them in my 8. I'm not putting Tampa. I'm not putting Toronto in my 8.
All right.
Well,
Listen, we have set the table. More to come all season long. You got it. Co-ops, the state of the Riverdale fighting Westwood Emersons, And much more on this edition and more to come this season on It's Hockey Night here on NorthJerseySports.com. See you next week.
Follow the leader.